Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are back with another one, man. You know how we rocking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We
Pardon
are
the
back.
playback right there. Just had to make sure everything was good. Shout out to the Noti Gang guys in the chat, man. Um, Game reviews, league leaders, schedule tweaks, and the Malcolm list are things that I want to go over with you guys today. Um, as you guys can see, we got to do some aligning with the league. I let the league take a vote due to me noticing that moving forward, the stats wouldn't be that realistic if I allowed the 17 weeks. You know me, I was like big on, like it's cool, we could do it our way. But then when I said with NCAA coming out though, now that it's official, those stats wouldn't, like, we wouldn't be able to get that many weeks on a year-to-year basis. Um, and that kind of is where I was like, okay, it's not like we're gonna need the mod moving forward because we're gonna be on we're gonna be on something else, a different platform. So that kind of was just like, just on my mind all day, and I had to get in the lab. I had to do some schedule aligning. I'm still working on that. If you guys can help me with that, just send me like your schedule, or like send me like your schedule written out, and let me know who you played twice. That's all I need to see. Who you played twice. You can show me your next game leading up to week 12 and who you played twice. That's just a way to help me. But I'm not gonna bore y'all with that too much. We gonna get it done. Um, and yeah, man. So teams only got 4 more games left to make something happen, guys. Teams got 4 weeks left until we're picking who's gonna make the playoffs. Because the NCAA is doing 12 playoff teams, I believe. I figure, we may just keep it Final Four. We may just keep the top four, just like how they did it in prior years, or I may go to 12. The only thing I'm trying to think of with going to 12 is stopping at week 12. How many weeks will we need to play out a 12-team playoff? So we'll figure that out in the chat as well. Y'all know I like to be as transparent as possible, and just let y'all know, how I'm coming as far as things like that. I'm gonna kill the music too, just so y'all can hear me nice and clear for the remainder of this little segment right here. But we still gonna go through the game reviews, league leaders. I'm gonna chop it up about some schedule tweaks. I'm gonna give y'all my little Malcolm list as far as right now, because right now these guys are racing. With the season coming to its end a little sooner than we thought, narratives is getting drawn a lot faster. Next week we're gonna have some draft stuff for you guys. Of course, you guys are not eligible for the draft yet, but we will be surveying the floor for some of the top guys around the league who are draft eligible, just to make it fun for you guys, so you guys can kind of keep an eye on the pro season. I'm not gonna do a full pro season with the NFL teams. I'll do like key games, and what I'll do is the top rookies coming out of the draft for the pros, which are generics in your season right now. I'm likely just gonna take the best generics off of you guys' teams and throw them in a little draft, throw them in a draft class, send them to the NFL. Guys like Sam Bucci, guys like this guy right here, Sergio Matthews. Um, other players, maybe some music guys who went MIA. We could throw them in there, make them upperclassmen. I'll change like their player names, but you guys know, who they were. Just so they're not filling any spots. And you guys could keep an eye on them headed to the pros. Of course, the pros are gonna have generics of their own. Veteran guys, things of that nature. But we gonna figure this thing out, man. We gonna make this thing happen. It's your boy Commissioner Mullah. One thing we gonna do is figure it out, make it happen, man. So I'm gonna get into the good old trusty franchise tool that we all love so much, man. That franchise tool really helps us out a lot. So I'm gonna get into that franchise tool. Let me put this thumbnail down. Drop me down here real quick. And let me get into this franchise tool. It should be up on y'all screen. Everything should be everything. Let me know. Yeah, so schedules, guys, we're gonna have to wait on the schedule because we're gonna have to make sure guys isn't playing, certain guys twice. So when I look, I don't know everybody's schedule off the top of my head, but I'll have to go through week 9 and just make sure it's no duplicate games. And we're gonna find some nice matchups for everybody to the point where it's no duplicate games. I'm not gonna take the full time to like go through everybody's schedule and make a like new schedule from week 9 to 12. I think me and the staff could go through week by week and figure out the spots that we can, swap a game and make sure like there's a good game that doesn't clash. So I may have to take it on a game to game basis until I could get with the staff and we could fix that. But for the most part, man, everything is everything. You guys could check out the schedule right here. This would have been week 9, and there's some good matchups that is gonna stay definitely, but it is some things that we may have to switch just so we're not getting no duplicate games anymore. So it's more so like the college series, man. So we're gonna go into last week and we're gonna do game reviews first. So Mississippi State versus Tennessee, that was kind of a CPU battle. Mississippi State at 4-4. Look, man, we got 4 weeks left. They got 4 games left to make it happen. They're already 8 games in. And now that we're kind of like at this point where it's 4 games left and most teams got 8 games, of course, the teams that have bye weeks are going to get a chance to, get their 12 games in. You guys don't have to worry about that. We're definitely going to make sure everybody plays 12 games. But now things are getting, real serious, man. So as we look at this week 8, it was a good week. It was a good week, man. I think we definitely did a good job of saving the best games for last. However, a lot of those games on the back end did not turn out as close as we thought, man. And we're going to get into that later. We're actually going to get into that as the second game. But Tennessee, man, getting blown out by Mississippi State. Mississippi State defense has been tremendous all year. And when going against a team like Tennessee, I think, like, not that people would see this coming, but I think that it's not crazy. It wasn't like something that we seen that caught us by surprise. Mississippi State has a very good defense. Tennessee offense and defense both have struggled all year long. As you can see, 1-6. They're definitely, just out of it at this point. Maybe if they win 5 games in a row, they could still get into like a little bowl contention. But for the most part right now, they're pretty much done, man. Their run is probably done here in this league. Yeah, it's probably no shot for them to really get through. Mississippi State gotta, put something together. Maybe win out the next 4 games to, solidify themselves a nice spot in the playoffs. Yeah, because I think I will make it a bigger playoff experience because college is actually gonna do that next year. They're doing 12, so I might try to keep it within that 12 range, man. I think that's how we're pretty much gonna try to do it. I just gotta make sure that we got enough weeks on the back end with teams finishing out their 12 games, doing like which would be conference championships and then doing the playoffs. I just have to make sure the weeks are lined up properly with the rounds. And I think it should because it's 17 weeks and then, I'm cutting the season to 12, so that'll give us about 5 weeks to get everything in. I don't think any team had more than 1 bye week, so that's actually perfect that we caught it at this time. And next up, we had Ole Miss versus USC. Ole Miss really took off on USC, guys. Ace Andre Roche, man, between him and Duke Davis, these guys are freshmen, but they're playing pro ready. You got to think that we haven't even seen the pro season yet. We don't know what type of pros is there, but you just know whatever franchises are looking for quarterbacks, I would say right now, they're in their bag saying we can relax a bit. Because if we know that we got these 2 quarterbacks coming after next year, they don't even got to rush to get a guy this year unless they can guarantee, a guy like Sam Bucci. So, one organization may be like, yo, we're going to go get Bucci, develop Bucci. He's going to be our guy. And then another, 2 organizations that may need quarterbacks could say, yo, look, we're going to wait until next year's draft and we're going to go after Ace Andre Roche and Duke Davis because these dudes are playing tremendous. And then, you never know, man. Sophomore year, it's possible that slumps can happen and somebody else can rise up to that occasion. So it's definitely going to be fun just seeing how everything pans out now. I definitely got to get in the lab and start doing some draft stuff now. It's a lot that I got to start doing now that we're going to realign just for the statistical purposes, it's a lot that I gotta kind of do in the background, guys. I still wanted to give you guys a podcast. I can't go over the schedule obviously because we gotta realign that, but I still wanted to give you guys a nice podcast. I just don't like taking days off, if I'm being honest, man. I like to, keep the grind going. I like to keep everything moving forward, and I like to just adjust on the fly, man. This is our first season, and I think we had a very good first season thus far, man. Let me know in the chat how y'all felt about this college series so far. Y'all being the first ever class here in the MSFL. That's something special, man. So let me know in the comments how y'all feeling about this first season. Whether it was a learning experience for your team or whether your team is killing it right now. Just drop a comment, let me know how y'all felt about this first college series. And we're not done yet. This season has been crazy, so I could just imagine what the playoffs are gonna look like. And yeah, man, we're gonna have some fun. So Texas 33, Michigan 3. That was another blowout performance. These two games we saved for last because we were waiting just to see how things were panning out. And I guess it makes sense, man, with the playoffs on the horizon, 8 games headed into week 9. These teams came out with a sense of urgency and really wanted to separate themselves. Texas moving on to 5-3, Ole Miss going to 5-2, and right now guys cannot take a break. They can't take their foot off the gas. Only 4 weeks left, 4 games left for most teams. You kind of gotta get those wins because you don't know how the two different sides of the conference is gonna stack. And if we do the 12 team playoff experience, then just think, man. 6 teams each conference, and we're gonna also take a look at what that will look like right now in the standings. So after we go through reviewing these games, we're gonna look at the standings and just count up the first 6 teams on each side and give us a look of who's in, who's out right now, what teams got to get their run going and got to start putting the pedal to the metal, man. But Michigan and Texas was another game that Texas really just handed it to Michigan. I think Texas is just on a hot streak right now. Jason Duncan seems to have found his groove. He didn't even go too crazy in this game. It really was Key Harris. He had 3 touchdowns. He had the hat trick. I got to get our emojis in YouTube as well. BJ has been going crazy with that. Shout out to my guy Brandon James. Shout out to all y'all in the chat too with the comments. But yeah, BJ's been going crazy with the emojis. I got to get those emojis in here so we can start posting them. But for the most part, man, it's just been dope, man. It's been fun. Texas is finding their groove, man. I just want to say that Key Harris found his strut. Jason Duncan found his strut. 5 touchdowns for Jason Duncan in the last game. 3 touchdowns in this game for Key Harris. And you got to think, when that balance is starting to kick in for Texas alongside that defense, did you see what their defense was doing yesterday? Please check it out if you haven't already, man. Go watch that game. From the pass rush to the secondary, everything was on straps for Michigan. And I think Michigan just seen a Texas team in rare form. And that's kind of where they hit their head. There's no need for them to hang their hat. 4 games left. You still got a nice opportunity to, get in that top 6 in your conference. So, don't hang your hat. Just play ball, man. You got 4 weeks to really get it going, man. And I think that they can do it. I honestly think that they can do it. So Texas and Michigan was a great game, guys. Texas really just taking off on them, and it's just been Texas's moment, man. I want to say these last 2 weeks they've came into their own and looked good on the defensive end tremendously. I think in the last game you had 2 picks from Kamari Hill and a pick from Waverly. You just got a pick from Waverly in this one. And it is what it is, man. They're feeling themselves right now, and you just gotta, you got to tip your hat to them. They're playing really good football right now. Oregon versus Oregon State was a shocker as Sam Bucci is on a bit of a downturn, man. He had a couple of off weeks. He lost against a terrible Oregon. I want to say Brewer showed some sign of life, man. This kid has definitely had his ups and downs. I want to say he didn't look as good as I think Oregon anticipated him to be. I think they had some scheming issues, playbook issues going on. He is a freshman, so he has some time to redeem himself. But Oregon State wasn't able to get it done. They came in as 6-1 to a 1-6 team, and I think they just really slipped this game. Of course, they seem to be okay in playoff contention, But with 4 games left, you definitely don't want to start your losing streak now. You definitely want to keep the winning up because you don't want any risk of, dropping below the standards for the playoffs, man. You don't want to lose 4 now if you're Oregon State and wind up 6-6. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that can happen, but you never know what we're gonna see in these next 4 weeks and how things are gonna turn around, man. A lot of teams may, sense the pressure and start to up it, man. A lot of teams may have to, up their sense of urgency. Oklahoma State, 20-23. Florida State just getting away from Oklahoma State. The book and Tyshawn Bryant put on an absolute show. If you didn't watch this game, definitely go back and tune into this too, man, because the book of Eli and Tyshawn Bryant was dialed in, man. The fourth quarter comebacks, man, that was going on in this game was insane. Like, if you look at the fourth quarter going into overtime, this game was an instant classic. Instant classic. I think you guys really got to tune into this game. One of the games of the year, if you ask me, just knowing that how much was at stake for both of these freshman quarterbacks and how much they were trying to prove themselves. You could just see the competitiveness just flowing in both QBs. And I just got to tip my hat to those guys. But, once again, Tyshawn Bryant comes out victorious, 5-2 on the season as a freshman. You got to tip your hat to him. After coming to Oklahoma State already had their QB troubles. The book of Eli had a lot more talent around him in Notre Dame. He seemed to be comfortable pretty early, helped them get some wins. Still wanted to go to Oklahoma State and start his own legacy. But they got to get it going, man. 4 weeks left for them. Well, not 4 weeks left for them. They actually had a bye week. So about 5 weeks left for them, and they got to string something together if the book of Eli and the rest of those guys, want a shot at, some playoff action. But all in all, it was a great game, highly competitive, and I just got to tip my hat to both of those quarterbacks, man. They definitely got it done. Colorado versus Washington, low-scoring game, one of the ugliest games we saw this season. Really, I don't want to say surprising from Colorado because the Washington's defense is probably one of the best defenses here in the MSFL, if I'm being honest. It's just that their offense has had so many struggles, man. They got a quarterback that's finally throwing it deep, but it's just something with the scheming as well as the playbook that is just not working for Washington, man. They're taking risks when they don't need to. Some of the play calling is questionable. The routes take a lot longer to develop than I think they would like. Their receivers are young as well. They got an all freshman receiving core with TRP, Debo, and Cam Johnson. And I think going with that freshman receiving core, man, believing in those young guys, it just hasn't really panned out yet. You got a freshman quarterback, you got a freshman running back, freshman receivers, and right now that's just the inexperience is not helping them down the stretch. And offensively, they're going into cold spells with all of those freshmen on the floor. I think with a year of experience under their belt and the potential that these guys do have, I think that if they stuck together, they can, figure it out next season. But I just think this season has left a sour taste in their mouths, and unless they can turn things around and sneak into the playoffs with 4 weeks left, I don't see this Washington team sticking together at all. But you never know what you're gonna see. They did get a win in this one, and hopefully this is the uptrend that they need to make a last minute run, man. Or if not make a last minute run, they can spoil you somebody else's season. They can win out and get a bowl game. 6 wins could kind of give you a bowl game. So they definitely can still get a bowl game and hold their hat. Their freshmen got it together late and still finished out strong. So we'll see, man. But they definitely get a very tough win in this one. And I would say I like what I saw from the defense. I always like what I see from this defense. A lot of veteran guys on that defense that will be going to the next level soon, probably. I got to scale their roster as well, and it's gonna be fun, man. I get to look at the roster. I have my mods. Anybody that wants to look through those things with me and have some of those debating conversations on the different tiers of guys, we can do that. We'll be doing that real soon. I might make that an actual segment during the off season where I start to tier guys based on their statistics and things of that nature. And I guess like the tier generics will be the guys that move on into the draft over some of the lower generics. I was talking to some guys about how we'll do the draft. I don't think it's no need to go get every generic on this mod to take into the draft class, but I think if we just cover the grounds of the best users and the best generics, I mean not the best users because there won't be any users, but the best generics, out of this draft, I think as long as those, guys go on to the next level, things should be okay. So yeah, man, next up, you had Alabama versus Miami. Definitely a closer game than Alabama would have liked. But at 7-1, you got to think that Alabama is really comfortable with where they're at right now. Only lost one game. They can't, definitely can't tank at this point because that would leave them at 7-5, and you just never know what that will make the season look like. With 12 games being the end all be all. But I think right now they should be fine. I think they should cruise to the end of the season. Definitely want to keep winning so that way you get that number one seed and you have better chances in the playoffs. I think with a six team playoff regimen, there would be like a one place six out of the conference type of thing, and I think that's kind of what Bama would want to go with, to start off. So and I think with a 12 team playoffs, the way that the NCAA is doing it, the first four seeds out of 12 has a bye week the first week. And then they play the winners of, 5 to 12 and so on and so forth. So that's how we would do it because that's the only way that teams will align if like the first four teams get a bye week. And that's literally how the NCAA is doing it. I did my research. Like I was in the lab all day just trying to figure out how I would do the schedule to make it realistic and then how I could realistically do the playoffs to make it, align as well. Because what I didn't want to do was go into the college game and then you guys' stats and records are different in the history books than what's coming in the college game. So it's just gonna be fun. It's gonna be an adjustment, but that roll tide keeps rolling. And it was another just clutch performance by Duke Davis and company. These guys just flipped the switch at the right time all the time. And we've seen this out of them a lot. I'll go into Bama later and just see like how close a lot of these scores are for Alabama. And man, matter of fact, I'll do that right now. This just gives a little more context to the podcast here. But 27-13, okay, not bad. 23-17, that's a close game against Clemson. 33-17, they got them. 41-38, close. 26-20, very close. 10-7, very close. 33-20, they got the Sooners, and then 33-36. So you can see that Alabama has been faced with adversity this season. However, they've just been able to get through, and that's just a testament to the type of team that they are, a testament to the type of guys they have around them, man. Heath Brothers, I can name a lot of guys that assist Alabama outside of the users. And you just gotta love it, man. Then you got Ty K. Wells and Kennard Roden at the cornerback position, just playing outstanding. Ice Itachi, the strong safety. Freeman is the veteran safety that they have. He'll definitely be going to the draft. And there's a lot of people that I just pay attention to. I watch every game. I kind of watch every position and really be seeing what's going on, like who's standing out, who's making certain plays. And there's definitely some guys on Bama who will be upperclassmen due to them being generics, and they'll be heading on to the pros, and we'll continue to see what these guys are doing. So I think the pro season will be fun with having our little generics that we had kept our eyes on sprinkled in. Yeah, I think that's just gonna be fun to watch, and you guys get to see how we do draft hype for the first time. It'll be my first time doing draft hype as a league, so I'm excited for it. And like I said, man, any staff members that want to get in tune, any mods, feel free to help. I know my guy Josuke definitely sent me some fire stuff that I could utilize for draft stuff. He be in a cut, but he's definitely dope with the graphics and stuff, so I will definitely incorporate that. We got the OBS popping. So we can like get a nice little setting for covering draft topics and doing the actual draft when the time comes. But yeah, man, everything's been looking good. Bama gets it done again. Roll Tide. Next up, we got Iowa versus UCLA, and Iowa's gonna beat UCLA for the second time. Duplicate games that already happened, guys. They are unfortunate, but I have all the duplicate games that happened already written down. I really was in the lab, man. Once again, yeah, for the guys in the chat that know, man, the book, they got an emoji already for me with the book, man. So and they're not even showing my book, the threshold, cutting it out. But anyway, man, yeah, I got the good old book, and I be writing different stuff to keep up with the league. Like I'm always just noting stuff and just in my book. Like it's something about writing things down that I appreciate, and it helps me get things done. So I just be in my book with it, man. So I've been in the book today, just figuring out how realignment will look, how realignment will work, and yeah, based on what I got in the book, I got all of the duplicate games. I got all of the guys that played 4 division games, which would mean they had to play somebody twice. You know what I'm saying? If you do the math, so because there's only they would be the fourth team. So if they played a 4th division game, they would have had to play somebody twice. So I went through, got all of that fixed. I know what teams played duplicate games. Everything makes sense, and I just would have to go kill off the rest of the duplicate games. And then the teams that already got duplicate games, they're going to be good, right? But if they're in a tie with somebody when it comes to playoff contention or seeding, I'm going to give somebody else the edge. So, yeah, man, that's basically how we're doing that, because certain guys played teams twice. And the ironic part about the teams that played the teams twice, all the teams that took 2 losses to a team are the worst teams in the league. Tennessee played Ole Miss twice, lost to them twice. Colorado played Miami twice and beat Miami twice. Miami's another bad team. Utah beat Oregon twice. Oregon's a bad team. Iowa beat UCLA twice. UCLA is not panning out to be that good. Notre Dame beat Clemson twice, and Clemson is not that good. So everything is making sense. I just gotta get through it and just hope that, like, when it comes to the tiebreakers and stuff, that that team really has to hope that when it comes to the tiebreakers, that it's more so a tiebreaker as far as which number seed they're gonna get, and not kicking them out of the playoffs, because if you're tied with a team but you got a duplicate win against a bad team, then yeah, pressure is on you, man. You got to start winning now, because tiebreaker is not in your favor due to you having a duplicate win. And if it was against a good team, because college does strength of schedule, then that would have been a different conversation. But because most of the duplicate wins are against the worst team in the league, that's why we're gonna have to do it that way. And then because we're cutting the rest of the duplicates, everything should line up. And because the duplicate wins is against bad teams, I don't think it's gonna really alter anything too much. I think for the most part it'll be like tiebreaker for seeding, and then that team would just get, if it's 6-5 or 4-5, that the team that didn't play, a tiebreaker would go above. So look at the Notre Dame guy saying Clemson good. Yeah, of course y'all would say that to try to work it in your favor, but no way, Jose, man. Penn State versus Utah. This was a bit surprising to me, but Utah's been a bit on a tear. They've been in their bag lately. Back-to-back wins for them. They go 22-3 against Penn State. Penn State, man, gotta figure it out. This is not a good look, especially being 4-4 now, and trying to close in on the last 4 games of the season. They got to get something going ASAP to try to be in that top 6. Florida versus NC State. Florida takes a bad loss to NC State, but NC State is a good team. They've been battling all year. Rob Edwards, Justin Thomas, those guys have been looking all right, man. So you got to look out for NC State and Rob Edwards. They 5-3, and if they could continue to just solidify themselves just a bit more, 4 weeks left. If they could hold on, they'll definitely have a spot in the playoffs as well. And then remember, it's gonna be by conference too, guys. So you may have a lopsided conference where a good team, a better team, might be left out. I guess we don't have to do it by conference. We could do it by committee, like the real college. So we're just gonna take the top 12 teams, actually. So we're gonna do it by committee. We ain't gonna do it by conference, guys. Because I wouldn't want a good team to be out based on conference. That's more of an NFL thing. So everything is gonna really work itself out, and we're gonna work through it. Y'all know me, man. I'm always gonna be transparent and let y'all know what's going on. I'm always gonna add y'all to the process as well. Then we had Oklahoma versus Georgia. Georgia put up a fight, but Oklahoma got it done in the end. I know this is another heartbreak about Georgia. They've had some up and downs in this season. Some times where it looked out of hand, and then they started to fight back, and then they just went right back down. But that's part of freshmen, man. A lot of these teams have compiled of freshmen, and you know, with us having the mod and playing in this way, it's gonna be tough. No season is gonna be easy, and it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be that much easier, guys, when we go to the NCAA game, because we are gonna still be in one conference. My plan is to make custom teams through NCAA, not through any mod. If we have to do any modding, I'm just gonna keep it base and just put all of the teams that you guys are on in a Moolaverse conference with the custom conferences. However, my plan is to make a Moolaverse conference with custom teams and move you guys to those teams, so that way we're paying attention to the conference season. And of course, you're gonna have out of conference games, and I'll let you guys choose who you want to play for strength of schedule. So, if you want to play, if Bama's the #1 team in the country and you want them on your schedule just to, try to prove a point, or just to try to get in the playoffs at the end of the year, that's on you guys. And I think that's going to be fun as well, just seeing what teams are made up together in this conference, trying to get out of the conference to play on, that national stage. Of course, because those guys are going to be in your draft class. So even if we're not watching those guys, you got to think that we're going to pay attention to the statistics all around the world, because those guys will be in your draft class regardless to us just honing in on our conference. Of course, our conference will be the priority as far as watching and streaming games, but we still going to landscape the entire NCAA as far as who's the top talent, who's the best player, comparing you guys to the best players that are, not in the NCAA. I mean, that are not in the Moolaverse conference. I guess we can watch some big time games, outside of our conference as well. If like the top 2 teams aren't in our conference and they're up against each other, or top 5 matchups are against each other, not in our conference, I'll add that to the schedule as well, so you guys know, like, okay, these guys are top. These guys are top. Like, I doubt what conference they're gonna make us, like, allow us to have a lot of teams. We already got used to filming a 32 team schedule, so it's nothing to add a couple weeks, add a couple games of big time games, so you guys can keep track of the top teams in the league. It's nothing for me to do that. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun as well, man. We're going to have a lot of fun with this, and these are structures that are ongoing, and with you guys being a part of these structures is just going to make it all worthwhile. Yeah, man. So definitely appreciate y'all. But Georgia took another tough loss. Like I said, up and down season. Oklahoma trying to work their way up, close the season strong, and sneak in the playoffs. And you got to love it, man. Strength of schedule is going to be another thing with adding these 12 teams. It's just going to be so fun seeing the committee and coming up with what teams, taking the votes to see which teams are the best teams. I might have to make some polls and let you guys vote as well, and just see what the league feels the best 12 teams in this series was, man. Because looking at it, it's just gonna be fun, just looking at the best 12 teams. And we're gonna actually do a mock of who's the best 12 teams now. And that's gonna be fun, man. So I can't wait to get to the end of this review. Notre Dame in a close game against Clemson, only beating Clemson by 2 points, and Clemson is 2-6, guys. And yeah, man, Clemson haven't had a great season. They show flashes at times, but just ultimately not getting it done. And Notre Dame starting to, uptrend and really solidify themselves over, teams that are in a different tier than them. Teams that are in a lower tier than them, Notre Dame is starting to like take off against and just show that there's levels to it. And you got to respect that, man. One thing I do is give respect when it's due. And Notre Dame has been stepping up and putting teams in their place to try to separate themselves. They have to continue to be in that top 12, but as of right now, I would say I'll give them the nod. Texas A&M 5-3 as well, up against Wisconsin, another team who's pretty tough. Wisconsin is a good team. I like Wisconsin's style. Wisconsin actually might be a team that played somebody twice. Did they? Let me just go check Wisconsin, because I don't have them on my list of teams they played twice, but I think they played UCLA twice, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go week 1, week 2. Week 3, UCLA, and oh no. Do you guys see a duplicate team on Wisconsin's schedule? Different team. Hmm. Oh no. So they didn't play anybody twice yet. Okay, so I do have it, all the teams. I just looked because when I saw the tie, that threw me off. But yeah, so cool. So Wisconsin didn't even duplicate the team, so that's good. They do have that weird tie that could hurt them. When it comes to figuring out these top 12 teams, and the team that they got a tie against is a bad team who's definitely out the playoffs. So uh, that's gonna be fun to see, pan out. If they were to win out, that tie against a bad team could hurt them in as far as seeding. Because we're gonna seed this thing as well as we're gonna seed this thing properly. When we do the 12 and announce the 12, we're gonna seed it based on who's who. So it's gonna be fun to watch. And I guess looking at the power rankings will also give us a nice look at the top 12 teams, man. So them power rankings coming in handy as well through this file. And this Madden franchise too is very, very handy, man. Yeah, moving on. LSU, TCU, LSU, 6 wins in a row. And that gotta account for something. These guys started off 0-2. And just when everybody was ready to close the doors on them, these guys are on a 6-game winning streak. Sergio Matthews is the truth. This guy's called game twice, and he is a cornerback, guys. At the cornerback position, this guy has called game 2 times, man. Like that is just unheard of, guys. Like cornerback doing things like that, calling game, guys. Like, have you? Let me know if you guys have ever seen that, man. I think he's leading the league in interceptions. We're gonna get to league leaders and go over that quickly too. But he's leading the league in interceptions, man. He don't won 2 games, by himself, and you just gotta like the effort, man. He's definitely, I want to say, as far as impact, as far as impact, I gotta say he's the best DB in the league right now. Like you got Waverly Harris, really good. You got some other guys that are good, Ty K, Wells, and you got Kennard Roden, but they're not making game-winning plays at that position the way he is. Yes, they're shutting guys down. Yeah, they're on teams where they got help. Waverly has Kamari. Ty K has Roden. Sergio Matthews is over there going crazy, winning games, shutting down his side. Dolly. And you just gotta tip your hat to a guy like that, man. And if you got an argument with it, man, watch the film and show me your tape. I watch every game. This guy right here is a top DB in the nation, man. If not one of the top players in the nation. Wink, wink. You guys will see what that's about later. But Michigan State, uh, going on to the next game, like I said, LSU 6 wins in the last 6 weeks, insane. But TCU, not looking good at all. Another losing streak, just starting to pile on for them, and their season is probably essentially over. If we're being honest, man. Hopefully these guys rally, come back. Maybe we see some activity from some of those guys. Maybe they'll just fall off and become generics. But on the next game, Michigan State taking out Ohio State in very convincing fashion. And Michigan State is just another team that is super duper tough, man. 20-6 in this one. That 2 running back set mixed with big time Bibbs is just tough, man. Like if some games, if Bibbs is on, they don't even have to force it with their 2 backs. And then if one back isn't on, the other back is on, and then Bibbs just has to do game managing to get the game done. So it's kind of like pick your poison. They also have a pretty good defense, a sneaky good defense. Maybe not one player that stands out the most on their defense, or not maybe one, or maybe not one unit that just jumps out and says, okay, this unit is dominant. But collectively, they just know how to get it done on a nightly basis. As you can see, they only lost 2 games this season, 5-2. And yeah, man, with them having 5 games left, we're gonna see, man, if they can continue this and just stroll on their way, to a nice little playoff berth, and see how they do in the postseason, man. So that's really it for the reviews. We're gonna get into these league leaders real quick, man. Let's get into these stats. Let's go into yards for the quarterback, man. Duke Davis, 2,300, and that will be 76 yards, as he had a 30-yard touchdown that they did not count in the stats for whatever reason, and 20 touchdowns. So, so he actually is just like really playing tremendous out there. 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Just looking great. Got sacked 16 times. And you just gotta love what you're seeing from this kid, Duke Davis, man. He's been playing lights out this season. And outside of Ace Andre Roche, I want to say them two are just a tier higher than what I've seen from the rest of the QBs. I just want to say that they're on a different tier. Those tiers will be dropping soon. There is 3 people in the highest tier, right? And that's gonna make things interesting because I think the third quarterback in that tier, of course, is gonna be number one is gonna be debatable between Duke and Ace. But I think the third quarterback in that tier can be arguable. Of course, some people may say Bucci, right? But then you got guys like Tyshawn Bryant. You know what I mean? Then you just got some guys that you can't forget about. And I think at the end of the season, we'll really be able to grasp who that next guy was, because this next stretch is very important. So these games in the next stretch are the defining games of what type of quarterback you have, and what can this guy really do? What type of guy is he? Is he a winner when all the stakes are on the table? And you got guys like Nick Vick. You got guys like J-Bo. You got guys like Weber from Florida, who just gets it done. And like statistically, right, J-Bo might have fell off here because of his his disciplinary issues. But where is J-Bo? Where's Jaden Bogner? Let me see. Where is Jaden Bogner here? Let me see. Bogner. Here you go. Jay Bogner. He's at 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And maybe he sneaks in that third tier, having the record in yards. I'm not sure if he still has the record in yards. I'll have to check. But he may still sneak in there, having the record in yards. Look at the interception to touchdown ratio. And he still has about 4 to 5 games left to, still make some things happen. He's at 29 with missing games. So he's not even last, and he missed a couple of games. So, it's some guys that you still got to keep an eye on. Let me see. Nick Patton. Here goes Nick Patton. Definitely doesn't make too many mistakes. Depending on how their season look, that can up his stock as far as tiers. Yeah, man. Tyshawn Bryant, 17 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's another guy that you just got to watch out for. Even Kenny Knox. Now, I'm not going to say Kenny Knox is better than certain guys. His team success is not really up there. But 15 touchdowns and 1 interception. You can't sleep on a guy like Kenny Knox. And you got to watch what tier you throw Kenny Knox in, man. I'm not sure if I'll put him in that 1 tier, because he's not, really winning games, so to speak. Like, he's playing well, but he's not winning games. And part of being a top tier quarterback, to me, of course, yes, you can say, okay, he's not winning games because of his team, but I'm not. He's having great games. Actually, he's having great games. But this is what happens though. Look at this. He's having great games, but look at what happens in these 2 games against a hot USC, a good USC team. 136 is not gonna cut it. Iowa 115 is not gonna cut it. You know what I mean? Any game outside of that, he's doing his thing, right? But in these 2 games, when you have slips like this, I don't know if the top tiers are doing that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And this is gonna be the debate when we're coming up with the tiers of the players, man. This is gonna be the debate. But yards right now, Duke Davis got it. Ace Andre Roche at 4 is right behind him. Even Brock Williamson is a really good quarterback. It's just about winning those games that you gotta win. He hasn't won those games that he has to win. And I'm pretty sure if we look on here, there's been some off nights. Yeah, look, 185 right here against Tennessee. They might have won that game. They might have still won that game. But 185 right here. It's 85 completion percentage, 84. So that's not bad actually. But Auburn, you threw 2 picks. I believe that was in a losing effort. Brock is looking good too. Honestly, Brock is looking really good too. But I think that this last stretch of the season is gonna really tell us who certain guys are. Jason Duncan looking good, 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and he can easily close in on one of these quarterbacks with the way he's been performing. He also had a 5 touchdown game, and you can't sleep on that at all. 346, 5 TDs. Didn't have the best game this week, but got the win against a tough opponent. And Jason Duncan has had some cold games. Like I would say last game might have been a cold game. Against OU, those 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. It's hot and cold a little bit. And Auburn definitely tanked on 3 interceptions, but he's only threw, interceptions in 3 games of his 9 games so far, of his 8 games. Yeah, dude. So, like that gotta account for something. You gotta keep an eye on that. And we definitely gonna break down, a lot of these quarterbacks and dig into their stats a little more as we rank the tiers. When it comes to getting in the end zone, Ace and Duke tied up in that department and tied in interceptions. Almost identical stats for these guys, man. Just almost identical in the stat department. And yeah, man, they're in that race for a reason. And look at it though. Ace is competing with Duke on this level with less attempts and less completions. He has 20 less completions than Duke, and that should just tell you something, man. 20 less completions than Duke. That just shows you the efficiency in his game. I do think that Duke has a little bit more errant throws than Ace. He does have more errant throws than Ace, but yeah, he has more errant throws than Ace. But Ace just seems to be a lot more prepared at times. He just seems more dialed in early. Duke takes time to get going, and I think that's one of the things that'll work against him when it comes to ranking them one by one. However, Duke gets the win more often than not than Ace. So although Ace is just hitting the ground running, he's gonna take shots. Duke is the guy who's a slow starter, but he's definitely a finisher. Tyshawn Bryan is another guy that I want to say is a finisher. And he's in his tier right now, if you ask me. I think it's these 3 guys world right now, and they're all freshmen. I think maybe Bucci is in a tier below them. I know that sounds crazy. That may sound crazy to some guys, but I do think Bucci is in a tier below them. I think guys like Jason Duncan, even Duncan Woods and Bucci comes in a tier below them, and then that's when I think you get into the Brock Williamsons, the Kenny Knox, and those type of guys, Nick Pattons of the Mulaverse. So yeah, that's it right there for that. Interceptions, the highest is Trent Edwards, man, of Iowa. 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, just tough outing for him. Duncan Woods also racking up those interceptions. Is competing in the touchdown department, but definitely taking risks to prosper out there. Ronnie, 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Just got to balance that out a bit. Tula Dowell as well. John Wilson. These are guys that have struggled, man, with some interception issues. Cam Bryant. Guys that got some work to do, but definitely has some talent nonetheless. As we get into, rushing too, we go into the rushing department. Key Harris really taking off in the last couple weeks, and especially in this last game, a hat trick for him. And a hat trick in the game puts him right back in the running backs run for touchdowns. And I just think he was on a mission, man. I think he really, really was on a mission, and you gotta love it, man. I see the comments in the chat. They definitely comparing. They said, they said Duke equals Brady, Ace equals Rodgers, and that's definitely a nice comparison right there. And it's gonna be fun to see those guys clash a lot over the course of their college careers with all the comparisons. And then it's gonna be fun to see who tries to work themselves into that conversation with those guys. But as far as the running backs, we got a lot of guys on here that can compete. But I gotta say Devontae Moore, Key Harris has been, some of my favorite guys, and even Drip Britton. Drip Britton has had some lowlights, but he's definitely had some highlights as well. AJ Mullis got to be thrown in there also. And those are some of my favorite backs. But we do have a lot of good backs, and I want to give this some time to linger before I'm choosing. Of course, those Michigan State guys are splitting duties, so like this is gonna be a bit skewed for them. But closing in on the season, we're gonna see if they can make some winning plays to really ice that up and move up in these tiers. When it comes to touchdowns, AJ Mullis is number one right now. Devontae Moore second with Justin Thomas, DeAndre Taylor, Ben Harvin. They're seeing some, generics, which would be upperclassmen in this mix right here. When it comes to receiving, you got 661 for Connor Hicks. Profit margins in the building. And Connor Hicks is definitely going to be an upperclassman for Clemson. He's going to get out of there. This guy has played really good, consistent, been a consistent guy for them, but just tough, man. He hasn't had a break, if I'm being honest. Profit margin 602 on the season, 3 touchdowns. Michael McConaughey 564, 2 touchdowns. Michael McConaughey, man, the tight end, getting it done. Getting it done. And you gotta love what you're seeing from McConaughey in this one. JoJo Cartier Ocean 556. He's having a good season as well. We're not gonna go to touchdowns yet, but as far as yardage right now, a lot of guys playing good. At 5th, you got BJ, man. BJ in at number 5. So him and McConaughey making it happen. They've had different quarterbacks, and these guys are still consistently playing really well. BJ McConaughey. That just shows you the talent that Notre Dame has. Terrence Shield of UCLA, he's been Knox's go-to guy. Much in part why Knox having good success in the passing game. He's been that veteran receiver that Knox has been able to rely on. Ronnie Arnett, tight end of Miami, same thing. Best receiver on the U as a tight end for real. Really plays like a wide receiver to me. I like the kid's game. Works the seams well, works the deep route really well. Short-handed guy. I think the next level is gonna look really, really good for him. Jackson Collins, another good guy. He slipped a bit in the charts because this guy's hot and cold. Jackson Collins has games where he looks like he's the best receiver, and then guys double him and he struggles. Not really a guy, and maybe that's a testament to Bama. It's like they try to shut him down, and Bama shows you that they have other weapons, but he's still top 10 nonetheless. However, he definitely has the talent and the potential to be the number one guy, and I think it's gonna be fun to see what he does in his sophomore campaign because the kid has been electric. 7 touchdowns on the season for him. Ethan Crite. Crite on time for a reason. Another really good receiver. We got a lot of good receivers. Gianni Zico on this list. We got a lot of guys as we go down this list. Cinco Andre Rocher slipped a bit as well. Didn't have too good of a game last game, but he's another guy you got to watch out for. And some of these guys are like red zone threats. So speaking of red zone threat, let's see who's the top red zone threats in the league at the receiver position. Parker Warner, this guy is a touchdown machine. Reminds me of Cooper Kupp. The numbers may not be outstanding. He's just a slot receiver, kick returner for Texas A&M, but without a doubt, one of the best playmakers in the league. This guy's called game himself a couple of times for Texas A&M. Pardon me, I might have said Oklahoma, but Texas A&M, man, wide receiver. Parker Warner, this kid he's a touchdown machine. He's a playmaker. He gets it done. The team knows when to put him in. Whether it's a third down that's needed, a crucial third down or a crucial touchdown, or you need him to run back a kick, he's going to get it done. Jackson Collins, like I said, big playability guy, red zone threat with that nice size for Bama. Jay Rello, same thing, red zone threat. Maybe this 461 isn't going to wow you. Maybe, going down the field, they just want to target him in big plays. Guys do double team Rello too. They do have guys over the top on Jay Rello. But when it comes to the end zone, he's going to snap. He's not going to be denied in the end zone. And I can bet you that. Cedric Hill, another guy for Ole Miss, who just super tough. Tyree Shady McGrady has came on and taken the league by storm for Texas. Really helped out Jason Duncan, 6 touchdowns. Kasim Ramsey is that guy for Florida State. 5 touchdowns for him, 444. Yeah, man, Cinco number at 5. That's these guys are all tied for about number 4 in touchdowns. If you could just see, where there's ties. But Cinco's another guy. And these guys just show you they're red zone threats. And it's only fitting that tight ends will be in the mix because the tight ends are usually bigger guys. And yeah, man, it's definitely tough. These guys with the no Diddy, these guys is hilarious. Yo, listen, as a sports commentator, it's kind of hard to, you know, escape certain things that you say in a sports setting. Of course, it's gonna sound a bit Diddy, but y'all know I'm big no Diddy, man. We ain't taking nothing over here. But yeah, man. We don't even want to get canceled, so I don't even want to say that name in these chats, man. Shout out to everybody. I don't condone any of that behavior. And my heart goes out to all of the victims of whatever that man had going on. But no place for that in the Moolah verse at all. PJ Rivers, Christian Russell, these are guys that like just really kill the middle of the field, man. Christian Russell, PJ Rivers, like these are guys that really dart you up in the middle of the field, and you got to keep an eye on them. Roman Swan came on, had some good touchdowns as well. And yeah, man, gotta like what you see, man. Defensively, let's go to total tackles. I'll look at sacks and tackles for loss on the other screen. But in the total tackle department, Antonio Weaver, we got a lot of good middle linebackers that I do want to see go on to the pros based on things that I've seen them do here. So definitely gotta check that out with these guys. And will get in a foul so we could do things. We could look at some stats based on position too. But I don't even remember if Madden will let us see stats based on position, or will it be more so by team or just league leaders. But when I get in the foul next time, I'll check, and we will do like a podcast where I'll go in the foul just so we can see at each position what's going on, because remember the tiers are also by positions too, and it's always just nice to get a good gauge of who's who based on each position. Um, but Juan Cervantes, Bud Simmons, Cole Davis, some users that I see, but it's also some really good generic linebackers. Quentin Santos, great user linebacker. As we go into tackles for loss, we can see some of the best pass rushers and guys who just wreak havoc in the backfield, whether it's on the pass rush or in the run game. You got Aiden Phillips, 20 tackles for loss, 11 sacks. Paul Jones, 18 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks. Dwayne McBride, 16 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks. Carl Calhoun, 16 tackles for loss, 9 sacks. I'll look at the sacks another time. Let's just pay attention to TFLs right here and just see the guys getting in the backfield, man. Darren Levy, Heath Brothers, Randy Ward, Alexander Ford, Lindsey Anderson, Khalil Allen, Gordon Hardman, Jabari Whitfield, Matt Wise, Glenn Ingram. And we got some guys really having their way, man. Getting at least a tackle for loss a game. And you just gotta tip your hat to these guys. Kiari Capri, a user, 13 tackles for loss for Washington. And yeah, these are just the guys that you just really gotta keep an eye on, pay attention to, because these dudes are no joke. I'm trying to see who's the first DB to be on this TFL list. Let's go into page 2. So we're still in TFLs. And it's Orlando Buckley. So Orlando Buckley of Iowa. Okay. Because I see Carter talking in the chat. So I just had to see Isatachi's number 2 at 6. As far as DBs, no. Actually, Malcolm Vick, a corner. So I'm pretty sure he's a slot corner. Yeah, he's definitely a nickel corner. Jason Underwood. Okay. Desmond. Let me see. Marcus Carter. There you go. So Marcus Carter's actually at 6. So he's probably about tied for second. Okay, Carter. So you are tied for second as far as TFLs. Okay, Carter. Okay, Carter. I see you. Oh, they said there was one on page 1. Let me see. Who was the DB on page 1? Because that's impressive. I don't see one on page 1. Oh, Orlando Buckley. Yeah, I did. I called out Orlando Buckley. Run support, strong safety, Iowa. That's tough. Like I like seeing stuff like that. As far as TFLs. Yeah, yep. I think Orlando Buckley is the only one. Oh no, Jabari Allen. Oh yeah, Jabari Allen too has 7. Okay, Colorado corner. He must be like a slot corner too. Or he may be an actual corner. You just get out there and bang. That might be who y'all was talking about. That might have been who BJ was talking about. And then as we go into sacks, Aiden Phillips of Texas, #1. Khalil Allen of LSU. Oh no, Notre Dame, Notre Dame. Yeah, this is Notre Dame. I'm tripping. This dude was wreaking havoc. 75 overall, smaller speed rusher archetype. Man, this guy is playing really good. 9.5 sacks. Alexander Fort of LSU. Okay, so this is the guy from LSU. 9.5 sacks. Carl Calhoun of Mississippi State. That's one of the top defenses. 9. Randy Ward plays for Colorado. I knew he was a Colorado guy. 9. Heath Brothers. That's Alabama right there with 8. Lindsey Anderson, NC State. Okay. Shelton Aldridge is another Bama guy. Yep. See, so some of these guys I know they stick out on Glenn Ingram. I want to say Bama again. No, Badgers. Okay. Some of these guys definitely stand out. I know Levy is on Ole Miss for sure. So yeah, this guy be wreaking havoc for sure. And this is just total sacks. We can get into solos too. I'll get into solos and you guys can see that. Let me see solos. Leading is still Aiden, and then a couple of guys at 8, couple guys tied at 7. Yeah, man. So these solos is gonna take account too with the total. I like that they, separate them. I'm gonna go to forced fumbles. We got some guys forcing some fumbles. Dwayne McBride, Denzel Bryson, he's tough. Gabe Kemp, Jalen Peterson, and then we got a lot of guys tied for 2. Couple guys tied for 2. See if there's any users on there. No, I'm not really seeing any users off the top. And then defensive touchdowns, off the sacks. Let's see. Brian Kendrick, Sydney. So these big guys got themselves in the end zone after a sack. Interceptions. There goes Sergio Matthews, guys. #1, 5 interceptions, a touchdown on one, and that was a game winner. And this guy, like I said, man, he's him. He's top of the top, cream of the crop. Some of these guys are really good too. Yeah, Romeo Gordon of Mississippi State, he definitely plays pretty well. Not super shut down, but he obviously is getting them turnovers. Nazir Fitzsimmons, this is Colorado. This guy's good too. Slept on, really slept on guy. Like another guy that's not too locked down, but he'll jump a route. Like you can't sleep on him. It's a lot of guys like that. They're not shut down. You could definitely pick on them a bit, but they show flashes, and if you play with them too much if you want. Sylvester Northcutt is another guy that I'll say is good. LaMelo Bracken's trying to work his way up there. Kamari Hill, really good. Ty K. Wells, outstanding. Tevin Hargrave, another shutdown corner. Tevin Hargrave of Miami, shut down, locked down. And look at these guys. Nothing too even spectacular, but this guy makes plays. I don't want to say shut down, lockdown for Tevin Hargrave neither. He's just another guy that's gonna make a play. Like he makes really clutch plays. Ty K is shut down. Kamari Hill at moments is shut down. A little better coverage than some of the guys that may have more picks than him, but definitely Kamari Hill is locked down. Of course, Waverly Harris. There's some guys that you can't look at the interception numbers because they may not do them any justice, like Waverly Harris, Kennard Roden. These guys are just really locked down. Terrell Terry with a couple of picks in the last game. He's trying to work his way up into showing what he could do. And I think further down the line, he could prove himself as we get into the real, depth of this season where the games are starting to matter that much more. You can see what's up with him. But yeah, man, the league leader is looking good right now. As far as returns, yeah, I can't sort that. We haven't really seen too many too crazy. Kari Rivers with 2 for Miami, and then 2 for Cameron Macy. Bo Knapp with 1. These kick returns right here. Yeah, so as far as those are the return guys there, guys. And yeah. Let me get back to this thumbnail real quick and let's see what else we got in the menu. Oh yeah, we spoke about schedule tweaks, guys. You guys know what has to be done as far as the schedule. And yeah, man, the schedule is what it is. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna start getting to some draft stuff and Malcolm list as well. I'm not gonna forget about the Malcolm list. Let me actually get that. Start searching that and we could talk about that, man. That's gonna be funny. See how you guys feel about my very first picks of the Malcolm list, guys. This is my picks. These are the guys that I believe. And I mean, this is based on everything. I don't think nobody watches this as much as me. I mean, there's the guys that be around a lot, but I'm pretty sure I got a better gauge out of anybody else on what's going on with the league. That's not a shot to anybody, not a knock to anybody, but it's my league. I watch every game. I don't miss a game, so why wouldn't it be me? But we gonna see, man. I'm gonna load this thing up and let's see how you guys feel about this very first Malcolm list going into week 9. Let me make sure the screen is not spoiling nothing, so we good. I was about to say, let me make sure the screen not spoiling nothing and y'all can't see who I got up there. But there it goes, guys. There it goes. My Malcolm list race as of right now. And I'll cut off this thing. I'll cut off this capture in the background so you guys ain't seeing this. And we'll just get this up there. I'll also cut off the thumbnail. But this is the Malcolm list right now. No order. No order, guys. No order at all. No order at all. But this is the Malcolm list, guys. Duke Davis, Sergio Matthews, a corner, because like I said, when you have a corner, when your team is on a 6-game win streak and your corner is locking down and your corner has won 2 games for you, that is like unheard of, bro. Like that warrants you being, acknowledged as one of the top guys here in the league, man. And that's just me, man. Like I'm watching these games, I'm seeing what this kid is capable of. You gotta know that this guy Sergio Matthews is if not one of the best players in the league when it comes to Malcolm moments, Heisman like moments. If you haven't been watching LSU's games, go back and watch it and you'll see exactly what's going on. Ace Andre Roche, I don't even think I have to speak too much about him and Duke, what they've been doing. It's really been outstanding work from both of those 2 freshman quarterbacks. They've been doing all that a team can ask for. Like, I don't think you can ask for more out of a freshman quarterback. Absolute freshman standouts. It's not even close. These 2 are the best quarterbacks in the league as freshmen. 1A, 1B type of thing. I don't think you can go wrong with one or the other. And down the stretch, maybe that changes. That's what is going to begin this race. So this is just me putting the guys that are on there right now. It's 4 weeks left. And then we get into conference chips. And, then we get into the actual nitty gritty of the playoffs. So these guys still got some time to close the gap. But if we're going off what I'm seeing right now, this is the Heisman watch. And Devontae Moore, man. Oh, I got Oregon. Why does it say Oregon? Pardon me, guys. I gotta fix that. But that was just probably me being fast. But yeah, man. Devontae Moore. That kid is tough. That kid is tough, man. And the highlight plays, the big time plays that he's made, just as much as Duke has saved Bam at times, this kid has done the same. He's definitely turned up in games where it was like maybe Duke is starting off slow and he's off, and he got it popping, and then Duke opened it up right there for Duke. So the Oregon Tide, yeah, man. Nobody even noticed, man, but I caught myself on that one. Pardon me for being fast, but before I post this on like Instagram or something or post it in the Discord, I'll definitely fix that. But yeah, man, this is the Malcolm watch, Malcolm race going into week 9, man. Shout out to my guy Josuke Kujo for the dope graphic. He did his thing with this one. Really did well on like capturing the players, the cutouts, even the organization of it. I really like the way that this graphic looks, man. We ain't no graphic majors. We ain't no professional graphic designers. But as you can see, man, we get it done at a high level in this league. And I think that's the dopest part about seeing this thing come alive is like, the sky's the limit for the growth in the league and just everything that's happening. We getting new mods. We just got a new mod chat. Most of the stuff, I've been doing on my own. A lot of guys have been stepping up off the love. Like, guys have been truly stepping up off the love. Like, I haven't asked guys to do nothing, and guys are just, yo, Moolah, you want me to help with this? Yo, Moolah, I got you on this. Yo, Moolah, I got a graphic for you. And that's what it's about. That's what keeps me going. That's what makes it fun for me, just seeing the community come together and seeing you guys really believe in this product. Like, it's really dope to see you guys believe in something that, I'm taking time to put together. So yeah, man, appreciate y'all as always, man. I figure that's a good way to end off the podcast with the Malcolm race. If there's any questions in the chat, I'll let questions rock until 10:25. So yeah, man, that's really it. That's the Malcolm race. Sergio Matthews, Duke Davis, Ace Andre Roche, and Devontae Moore, man. Those guys right now have been the most standout guys. We could do some honorable mentions later on. I would say maybe Jay Bogner, Tyshawn Bryant, definitely honorable mention. Tyshawn Bryant, big honorable mention. And I think he can squeeze himself on this list. He could squeeze himself in the top 4 with the remaining time that we have. But going into week 9, these are the top 4 guys. Going into week 9, these are the top 4 guys. If I had to do a 10 list, then you'll see guys like Tyshawn. You would see guys like Key Harris. You would see guys like AJ Mullis. You would see guys like I would even say maybe a Aiden Phillips. Aiden Phillips, the defensive lineman that's just taking the lead by storm right now. Yeah, you can see guys like that. Let me see. I would say Jay Bogner with the suspension. I don't know. He might have messed himself up because I don't think that he might have been able to play as consistent as some of these guys, and we would never know just because of the suspension. The Book of Eli can work his way up there. It's a couple guys, man. It's a couple guys. You guys let me know though. You guys let me know any sleepers y'all got in the chat. Yeah, let me know them sleepers you got in the chat. Yeah, let me know any sleepers that you have. And questions till 10:25, 10:26. We'll do 10:26. Let me get some questions, man, before we get out of here. And I think it was a good podcast. We got through some stuff. How long did it actually last? We kept this one under 2 hours, under an hour and a half, man. So that's good. I couldn't do the schedule review, so I know that took up some time. Because I couldn't do the schedule review just because of the alignment. So each week I'll be going to see if teams have any duplicates and making sure guys didn't play each other twice. If the team is not in your division, most likely you're still gonna play them. But if the team is in your division and you already played them, then we'll be switching that out. I already know some week 9 matchups that I have to switch out already. Yeah, there's a couple week 9 matchups that I have to switch out, guys. But I will be looking at the schedule, each schedule, and just making those changes. Yeah, LSU played Tennessee already, so I gotta swap that out. That's gonna be good to see who we can swap out with LSU. And then Gators already played UGA, so I gotta swap that out, and that's gonna be another good game to see, who swapped. So if you lost against a team that was in your division and you thought you was gonna play them twice, sorry guys. But we gotta switch that up. Oh, power rankings. That's what we was gonna go over, guys. Yeah. So if the season is 4 weeks left, if the season was to end now, this is what it would look like, guys. The season was to end now. Here's what it would look like. Here's what it would look like. If the season was to end now, this is who Madden would choose as the top 16 teams. And let me put myself on the other side, actually, so that way I'm not blocking anything. Here we go. So this is who Madden would choose. Alabama as the 1 seed. Ole Miss as the 2 seed. LSU as the 3 seed. Oregon State as the 4 seed. Texas Longhorns as the 5 seed. Florida State Seminoles as the 6 seed. Florida Gators as the 7th seed, Spartans as the 8th seed, uh, Fighting Irish as the 9th seed, Aggies as the 10th seed, Wolfpack as the 11th, and the Badgers as the 12th. And that would be the end. And then the first 5 teams out would be Colorado, Utah, Oklahoma, Mississippi State, the Wolverines, USC, Nittany Lions. So these teams right here are on the verge of being out. And right now, the top 12 right now ends with the Badgers. So Badgers and the Wolfpacks last in, and then everybody under them, which makes sense. Those are the teams that's under 500. The only team over 500 is USC and in Utah, and I agree with that. I agree with that. If USC and Utah is the only teams outside that's over 500 that's out of the top 12, that makes sense to me. That really makes sense to me. So a couple of teams got to start doing, got to get in the lab, man. Michigan got to work themselves up a couple slots to work in this top 12. They're really like a game out. So it's a lot of teams, man, that's a couple games out. So it's still a nice battle to 12, and we're gonna look at strength of schedule and things of that nature. Ole Miss at number 2 looks really good for them, especially with them being one of the teams that got 2 wins, and they're the only team on here that has 2 wins. That's they're the only, and Notre Dame, them and Notre Dame are the only 2 teams that's in this top 12 that has duplicate wins against a bad team. And it doesn't look like they're going to be in a tiebreaker with anybody. If they are, then we'll just give that other person a nod based on the schedule. We still going to check the schedule and see how it aligns, because if we still feel like this team was better than them, even though they got a duplicate win, we still would we'll still put that team higher than them. So like if Ole Miss wins out, then it doesn't matter. The duplicate win doesn't really matter, because it's like it's obvious that they're top. But if they start to dip low and take bad losses, then of course we'll have to compare it with if a certain team should seed over them because they do have 2 wins versus a bad team. So it's really just based on their wins. Right now they got 3 wins against other teams that were decent. And that's giving them this right here. Because if we look at Ole Miss schedule, I want to say the best teams that they beat is Auburn. Look, Auburn, UCLA. USC is the best team that they beat. Because the rest are like not really that good. Auburn, they beat Tennessee twice. You know what I'm saying? So, and UCLA is 2-5, so they beat them, and it doesn't really, you know what I mean? So, Oregon would be, Ole Miss would be a team that like you have to watch, that I will watch, and they may slip based on their strength of schedule to me. Of course, I'm still gonna tie in how they played, but they haven't really played. There's certain teams that I gotta see them play on the back end. And looking at their schedule moving forward, they may play some dogs. A&M, yeah, 5-3. LSU, 6-2. Wait, did they play LSU already? Let me see. Let me make sure that they didn't play LSU already. Nope, they didn't play LSU already. So yeah, they got some dogs coming up. LSU, A&M, Iowa's even tough, and Mississippi State to end the season. That's tough. So yeah. So I like that. They haven't played LSU, but they played Tennessee. Tennessee's the only team that they played already. So yeah, I like that. I like that. I think coming up they will be battle tested. I think each of these teams is a battle. A&M is not gonna be easy. LSU definitely not gonna be easy. Even Iowa at 4-4 and Mississippi State at 4-4 is not easy to end your season. So if I'm being real, man, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of these power rankings. Not that I would go off of these. I'm gonna look at this, but I'm still gonna pick on based on what I see. And yeah, man. So that's the playoff outlook based on today. That's the playoffs. And yeah, man, that's what it's looking like right now. Of course, it's gonna kind of be the same as the inner hunt on the left and the right. So if you see the inner hunt on the left and right, I'll move out the way so you can see the teams. Then you'll see Jay Bogner got Player of the Week. Duke Davis also got Player of the Week. Those are two users that won Player of the Week for their conferences. So shout out to those guys, as you can see on the screen. And yeah, man, Michigan definitely has to run the table, or they gotta make something happen. But they gotta hope, if they don't start to run the table, they gotta hope some losses happen. Um, yeah, that's really it. If they don't run the table, they just gotta hope some losses happen. And we'll use the conference. We'll use the conferences and divisions to deal with tiebreakers and stuff as well. So like certain teams will use their conference and division as a tie-breaking mechanism for the 12 teams that we pick. But it's still going to be some better teams. Like if you look, some of these better teams division-wise are going to, like a team like Texas A&M, they're not going to play any doubles. So you never know how they're going to do because they don't have to play the guys in their division twice. You know what I mean? If they went out and even though they're third in their division, they could get a playoff spot. Same thing with some other divisions. You know what I mean? But we can use like conference. We'll more so use conference for certain things, just because conference is a larger scale, so we could use that. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Gotta make it count at the end of the season. Gotta make it count at the end of the season, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me once again, man. It's your boy Kamish Moolah in the building. It's been fun. It's been real. We've had a good time. Got through it. Really got through it. I appreciate you guys as always. If there's any questions, please, drop them now as I'm about to get up out of here. I will be in the Discord too, so if you got any questions or anything, I will be there. But appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hit that like button, jump that like button if you haven't already. You know how we rock and how we bobbing. Salute to all of y'all, man. Moolah versus growing and flowing, man. We making adjustments as we go. But I appreciate all of y'all, man. Let's just keep this thing going. We're gonna get some draft hype coming in soon. We're gonna get that pro hype coming in. You guys gonna see some pros. You guys gonna see some pro stuff, some pro action. We do have, we got two months. We got 3 months till the NCAA game. So that kind of, you know what I mean? I know y'all don't want another season on here. So I can actually show more of the pros if y'all would like. You know what I'm saying? I could possibly do that, show more of the pros. Yeah. I guess I could do that. Show more of the pros. Yeah, man. Maybe I'll do something creative where I'll let you guys. Maybe I'll do something where Patreon guys can make a pro player, or not make a pro player, but upgrade a pro player, something like that. Like go to a generic. And you can, maybe we do something like that. A UDFA. How would y'all feel about that? Let me know. We'll take a vote on it in the chat, man. Let me know if that will, make you guys a little more in tune with the Pro Series. If I let y'all go over UDFA, and it won't be your main player, obviously. This will just be a player that you'll follow. You know what I mean? This is just be a pro player that you'll follow, and you'll have an opportunity to upgrade him, so that way you guys don't got to go through a pro season. Because I'm thinking, bro, it's months until the college game. We still got some weeks left, but say if we get done with the college season, would you guys want a season 2 on a mod, or would y'all want to just wait until NCAA 25? I'm thinking most of you will want to wait till 25. So if y'all want to wait till 25, then I'll let y'all do something with a pro player or something like that. Yeah, maybe I'll do the UDFA thing. I think I may do the UDFA thing. May just do like $5 for your UDFA and take applications for new guys to come and go straight to the pros. We'll figure it out in the chat. and you guys let me know. Cause I like the storylines of y'all college guys, so I don't want y'all to try to rush to the pros. It won't be no super benefit to going to the pros. But I'm just saying to fill in that gap of the month's worth of content. I know y'all want to start off on 25, so it's like, how will we work our way around that? May just do some UDFAs for the pro series. That may just be the vibes, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, that honestly may be the vibes, but we gonna figure it out, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Uh, appreciate you guys for tuning in. This your boy Commissioner Mullah, man, and I am out. Let's get in the chat and let's talk about what we gonna do as far as the pros, man. Peace.